Hey guys, Brad Danger here, and believe it or not, Toyota's brand new CEO just stood up in front of his own engineers and admitted the company builds too many cars. That's like a five-star chef walking out of his own kitchen and telling the dining room the menu makes no sense. Toyota is the single biggest car company on the planet, and right now their own boardroom cannot tell you the difference between half of the vehicles sitting on their lot. So today, we're gonna do that job for him. We're diagnosing exactly how Toyota's lineup turned into a hoarder's garage, and then I'm taking the keys to the whole company and telling you exactly what gets cut if I am the one running the show. Like, subscribe so we hit 2 mil by the end of the year, and let's go. Okay, you walk into any Toyota dealership and try to explain the actual difference between the 4Runner, the Land Cruiser, the Sequoia, and the Lexus GX. You cannot do it because nobody can do it. These are quadruplets separated at birth who each grew up believing they were the only child. They all do the same job. They all wear the same camping outfit. And the only real difference between them is how many extra thousands of dollars the badge on the hood talks you into spending. The 4Runner alone comes in 12 separate versions. 12. That is not a trim lineup. That is a hostage situation where Toyota just keeps adding options until you pick one to make it stop. And here's a fun one too. The Land Cruiser you can actually buy in America right now is not the real Land Cruiser. It's a smaller global model called the Prado wearing the Land Cruiser badge, while the true full-size Land Cruiser that built the nameplate hauling itself across actual deserts for 70 years does not get sold here at all. So the 4Runner and the American Land Cruiser are built on practically the same bones, wearing two different name tags, parked 10 feet apart in the same showroom, waiting for the same customer to get confused. And if you're actually out there trying to shop this mess instead of just getting a headache reading about it, Auto Tempest pulls every listing from every website into one place so that you're comparing real prices instead of opening 30 tabs. Link is pinned in the first comment. Now, take the Sequoia specifically, since it's supposed to be the biggest, toughest hauler in the whole family, except the current generation somehow has less usable cargo room behind the third row than the version it replaced. Toyota built a bigger truck and handed you a smaller trunk, which is the kind of magic trick that would get you booed off a stage. Then there is the Highlander and the Grand Highlander, which solves a problem nobody was asking about. Mainly, what if you took the Highlander but made it bigger, and also what if you charged extra for the privilege of finding out? The Grand Highlander alone ships in 10 different variants, 2 separate vehicles doing the same 3-row family hauling job, sitting on the same lot, competing with each other instead of with anybody else on the market. The Crown sedan showed up a few years ago dressed like a Camry that got ready for the wrong event, half sedan, half crossover, completely unsure of what it wanted to be when it grew up. Buyers noticed sales fell 37% last year, down from 12,309 units total. Meanwhile, its own cousin, the Crown Signia, the wagon-shaped version, more than doubled its numbers to 20,550 units. Same family, same badge, and one of them simply knows what it's supposed to be while the other one is still finding itself in a parking lot somewhere. Then you have the Corolla Cross parked in the same showroom as the RAV4, which remains one of the best-selling vehicles on the planet. The Corolla Cross exists purely to catch shoppers who almost bought a RAV4 but got spooked by the sticker price, which is a strange way to run a business when the simpler fix is just pricing the RAV4 better in the first place. And don't forget the BZ either, Toyota's electric SUV that exists in such small numbers, most Toyota salespeople could not point it out in their own parking lot. It is not getting the axe today. Electric just needs one more generation to find its legs, but the clock on the patience is ticking. And somewhere in the back corner, under a thin layer of dust, it's the Mirai, Toyota's hydrogen fuel cell experiment. Last year, Toyota sold 210 of them in the entire United States. The GR86, a car most people forget even exists, outsold the Mirai's whole year of sales in a single month of December. That is not a production vehicle anymore. That is a museum display that happens to still come with a manufacturer's warranty. So here is the thing. Toyota's new CEO already admitted the company is bloated. He just has not told anybody which knife he is picking up. Lucky for him, I'm gonna do it for free for you, buddy. Here is exactly what gets cut if I'm the one sitting in the big chair in Toyota City. First one, the Mirai. Obviously, no hesitation, no committee meeting, no gentle phase out over 3 years. 210 sales in a year is not a business. That is a rounding error with a paint job. Hydrogen never got the fueling stations it needed to survive, and Toyota has better places to spend their money. That like literally on anything else in this list. Second though, is the Crown sedan. That gets retired while the Crown Signia keeps working. You do not need two cousins fighting for the same job when one of them is actually pulling its weight and doubling its numbers every year. promote the one that is winning, thank the other one for its service, and move on. Third, the Prius disappears as its own separate identity. The entire reason the Prius existed was to be the efficient one, except now the Corolla is a hybrid, the Camry is a hybrid, the RAV4 is a hybrid, so the whole company is basically walking around wearing the Prius's old outfit. The nameplate that invented hybrid cool has nothing left to sell that its own siblings do not already do better. Fold it into the Corolla lineup as an efficiency trim and let the name retire with its head held high. Fourth, the regular Highlander gets cut and the Grand Highlander simply becomes the Highlander. One name, one SUV, no more asking families to solve a riddle in the parking lot before they can go buy groceries. Fifth, the Corolla Cross gets cut loose and the RAV4 absorbs the customers instead. Stop building an entire vehicle whose only job is to talk people out of buying their own bestseller. And finally, somebody needs to take a chainsaw to the Tundra's trim sheet. Toyota sells around 150,000 Tundras every single year, yet somehow needs 10 separate versions, 4 different bed and cab configurations, and 4 separate luxury trims called Limited, Platinum, Capstone, and the 1794 edition to get there. There's less than $2,000 separating the Platinum from the top trim. Nobody's cross-shopping 4 trucks that are within $2,000 of each other. They are standing in the showroom, just confused. Doing math instead of buying a truck. Pick one flagship trim, give it everything that you got, and let the rest go. Now, the honorable mention goes to the Crown Signia, the one member of the whole confusing lineup that everybody wrote off as a weird stepchild and turned out to be the one actually growing every single year. Leave that one completely alone. Here's the lesson hiding inside of all this. Toyota didn't end up here because they were bad at building cars. They are incredible at building cars, maybe the best in the world. They ended up here because it is easier for a giant company to bolt one more trim level than it is to sit in a room and admit a product is not working anymore. Every big business does it to themselves. You keep the things alive because killing it feels like admitting a mistake, and one day you look up and your entire lineup looks like a garage nobody has cleaned out in a decade. The companies that actually get better are the ones willing to throw something away, even when that something used to be their whole identity. So let me know, do you agree or agree to disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe so we hit 2 mil by the end of the year. Check out some of these Ideal vids. I'm Brad Danger, this is Ideal, and promise me one thing, keep living the Ideal lifestyle.